what's a girl to do then? Especially when she's only got 12 sock projects on the go and she can't finish the one she's working on. Logically, I cast on another sock. Hello and welcome back to the Midnight Diary channel. My name's Gemma and I'm coming to you from Devon. This episode is not really, but playfully sponsored by All the Coffee, as I did the thing where I stayed up way too late last night to get some making time in, and now regret it because my son gets up at the same time every day regardless, so I'm a little bit delirious. I'm back with a normal podcast episode for you this week, which hopefully you'll enjoy. Although it's only been 2 weeks, I have actually achieved a fair bit, so I'm excited to share that with you. I've had to make notes again. This is the second week where I've had to make notes to remember what I'm talking about. So I've got a finished object for you, some sewing, some cross stitch, some sock news. I'm going to redraw for the giveaway prize for the 500 subscriber giveaway book, because I still haven't heard from the person who won that. So we're going to draw a line under that and give it away, hopefully, this week. I don't want it in my possession in June. So there we are, and I'll talk about that later. I've got a new book to share with you, which I'm very excited about. An update on the 52 Weeks of Socks knit-along group that I am part of on Facebook. We've got our new book, our new sock that's been chosen, which is very exciting. And a couple of acquisitions for you. I've been very, very lucky to receive a lovely gift, so I thought I'd share that because it's new and exciting and I need your help deciding what on earth I'm going to do with it. Okay, so let's not waste any time. Let's get straight on to it because I am doing this during nap time. I'm not sure how long I've got because he went to sleep before having any lunch. So we'll just see. First up is a sewing project. Now don't laugh too hard and bear in mind that this is doubling as an entry for Ali's Dodgy Bag Make-Along. So it's the Dodgy Bag Mail of 2024. I've entered it on Ravelry, not on Facebook because I didn't want to share it there before my aunt received it. Anyway, how about I stop whittering on about it and just show you. I have finished my aunt's project bag. Look how tiny it is. I've finished my aunt's project bag. Isn't that a great size? Nope, it's actually rather small. I'm not entirely sure what she's going to fit in here, but hopefully something. So I finally finished it. This was almost finished on time for her 50th birthday on the 11th of May, but I hadn't got my sewing machine out since we'd moved to Devon and I couldn't find anything, couldn't find pins, couldn't find bobbins, couldn't find anything. So in the end, I gave it up as a bad job and showed her the IOU present. I was like, it's handmade. It's a lot of thought put into it. So I've shown her this and she was very pleased and said that it didn't matter that it was going to be late because after all, she is like the Queen and they have 2 birthdays. So this is for her 2nd birthday. And here we go. So the pattern is from I believe the Cross Stitcher or World of Cross Stitching. I think it's Cross Stitcher. Britain's #1 cross stitcher, I believe. From 2011, so we're going back quite a way, but it just goes to show it's worth hanging on. You never know when you're going to use these things. So I'm just seeing yet more threads. There's more dodgy bits on this dodgy bag than I'd at first realised. So you start off by cross stitching the bunting, and then when that's done, put your pieces of fabric along with it and sew it all together and make it into a lovely, and the idea is not dodgy bag. I missed that brief and have made a very dodgy bag, but I really hope my aunt likes it. The fabrics are left over from fabrics I bought. They're just from Hobbycraft. It's a fat quarter bundle from Hobbycraft. And they are left over from the English paper piecing project that I have almost finished for the lovely Helen. So I trimmed those bits. I didn't actually document the whole process of making this because I just sat down one afternoon. I think it was Sunday. I think my husband had taken the dog and the baby out for a walk. I can't really call him baby anymore, he's 2.5, but anyway, the dog and the small person out for a walk. And I had an afternoon to myself to just do a little bit of stitching. And I just got on with this and enjoyed it. And I did think, oh, should I get the camera out? Should I vlog it? Should I show you the process of making it? But I just enjoyed myself. I hope that's okay. So I do have some B-roll of the actual sewing, which it was an event. It was an event. I am definitely not an expert sewist. What I lack in skill, I make up for with enthusiasm. Let's say that. So here we are, my dodgy bag. I've sewn the handles on. There's definitely mistakes. There's raw edges because the instructions were very, very sparse in the magazine. It just said fold over 1 centimetre and stitch it down. So I did. I folded it over, probably more than 1 centimetre actually, and I stitched it down. And I was quite proud of how close to the edge my stitching was and how good it was. But then realised when I turned it the right way in, I could see all the raw edges, but never mind. It's a little bit rough around the edges, but there we go. So I have entered this into Ali's Dodgy Bag Make Along. So if you watch Starry Eyes Ali, Little Drops Wonderful, she's got an annual, I say annual, actually she hasn't done it for a few years. Either way, this year she's running the Dodgy Bag Make Along and I have my very first entry and I'm very proud. So I've also done a lot of work on my mum's second sock, but I actually can't find it. I don't know where it's gone. If you recall, I knit mum a sock according to my aunt's recipe for her. And as I knit it, I thought this looks really, really small. And so I sent the first sock down to, or up to Essex to, so my mum could try it on. And as I thought it was far too small, she couldn't get it over her foot at all. So I cast on the second sock, but to my recipe, and mum tried it on at Lindsay's birthday and it fits better. So I finished that, which you saw last time. But because I've already done a pair of socks, I didn't have enough yarn left to complete the second sock. So I've completed the heel flap, heel turn and gusset, and then I had to call it quits for that sock at that point. And I can't find it, so I can't show you. You just have to take my word for it. So until I get the first sock back from my mum, I can't actually finish that pair. What's a girl to do then? Especially when she's only got 12 sock projects on the go and she can't finish the one she's working on. Logically, I cast on another sock. Here we go. This I was really excited for. This was the second ball in the Head Over Heels range that I had purchased. And I cast it on initially, not sure if it was going to be for me or for Jude. I thought it might be a bit busy for Jude. He's after more masculine socks at the moment, so I thought it might be for me. But my decision was made for me when I started knitting this. Now, on the ball band, there's a picture of this yarn, and it does not show any flecks through the solid colours. Nice, clean, crisp solid colours, just like on the first first pair I did for Jude and my son. And I just felt so disappointed. I was so excited to see this work up and these flecks. I mean, I was talking to a friend and she was like, oh, I really love it when that happens. It's so fun. I was like, but it's not how it's meant to be. I mean, one of these bits even has pink in it. It's nothing like it. I did consider messaging the shop owner that I bought this from, because obviously it's not the shop owner's fault, but the shop owner has their rep and their contacts at the yarn company, and it's up to the yarn company to sort it out and to sort it out for the shop owner. So I was thinking about giving her a ring and saying, hey, I've got a slight problem with this yarn. Have you experienced this before with it? Because they should really replace it. But I don't know. I don't know if I can be bothered, if I'm honest. Don't know if I could be bothered. No, he's gone back to sleep. Which probably sounds awful, but there's not a lot that could be done. And all the other balls at this dialog were sold, so presumably she hadn't had any other issues with it, or everyone else was happy. So I've decided to just get on with it, and I'm actually going to make this pair for me. My son has quite a few hand knit pairs of socks. My husband has some, not too many. I do need to work on that. My dad's got quite a few now. I actually don't have many at all. I've got a lovely pair that Jude sent down to me as a gift just after Christmas time, which I've never shown you. I probably should show you. They're really lovely. But yeah, beyond that, I don't have many pairs of socks, and I really want to improve my hand knitted sock wardrobe, sock drawer. So there we are. Other than that, I'm enjoying the yarn. It's a lot busier than the previous yarn. So yeah, but no, it's great. It's great stuff. I like it. I like it. So there's that. Now, is the other sock hiding in here somewhere? Is it just in the bottom? No, it really isn't there. So on to works in progress that you have seen before. Logan's vest. So this is for my husband's cousin's son's first birthday, which was now a month ago. But never mind, I've not seen them, so I wouldn't have had a chance to give this to them anyway. But there's the back, which I believe you've seen before completed. And I've almost completed the front. This isn't going to show up very well because I've not put it on waste yarn. It's hanging out on the needle. How can I make this a bit? There we go. That's better. So you can see I've done almost finished one side of the V. I sat up the other night. We watched the new Tiger King. I say new, it's not new. It's the second kind of follow-up season, which every man, his dog and his iguana has probably watched already, but we're very late to that party. We watched Tiger King in the first lockdown with everybody else. We were actually up to date with the rest of the world. But anyway, and I was determined to get this done. So I thought, why isn't this done? It's ridiculous. It's 2 pieces knitting. There's significantly less knitting in this than there is in a sock. I don't know why I've not got it done. So I'm determined to get this finished. This will be a finished object by next week's podcast. Okay, hold me to that. So yeah, I've almost finished the V, which I will spread out. There we go. Ta-da! And then I've just got to do the same, sew it up, and do the armholes and neckband. It really shouldn't take me that long. Slightly worried about yarn chicken, because this is all I've got left. Now, according to the meters, I should have enough. And my row gauge isn't any tighter than the pattern suggests, because it's actually row gauge that makes the difference. So if you have a tighter row gauge and the pattern says knit until it measures 6 inches, say I have 10 rows to an inch and someone else has 12 rows to an inch and we're knitting to 6 inches, I will have 60 rows, whereas my friend will have 72 rows. So that's more knitting, that's more rows, that's more stitches overall. So therefore that's more yarn used. Does that make sense? I apologise if that's something you're very, very familiar with, but yeah, so I found in my time running the yarn shop that not everyone was familiar with that. So actually, if the tighter your row gauge, if you're knitting to a length of something, the more yarn ultimately you're going to use. So I'm slightly concerned about how little I have left. And I think that was partly why I stopped working on this as well. It was kind of reverse yarn chicken. It's like, if I don't play, I can't lose. So if I start knitting it, I'm going to run out, and then what's going to happen? So anyway, that's Logan's vest. I'm just going to consult my notes. I can't believe I've got notes. Yeah, so another work in progress that I don't think you've seen before is the Chime baby sweater. So this one has a deadline. The Chime baby sweater was designed by Martin Story for Rowan's Bloom book series. So they're patterns that are for baby and for pregnant mother. Great concept. I wouldn't have had time during my pregnancy to knit something I could actually wear. I managed the Ivy tunic and that was touch and go, to be honest with you. But the kids' patterns are really sweet. And I've done this cardigan before for my son, and my son and my boss, he's also my friend, his grandson were born on the exact same day. And when he came to visit me at the shop, because he was looking after my shop for Search Press at that point, he was looking after my account. He saw it hanging up on the wall and admired it. And I said, I'm really sorry, it only goes up to 12 months. And by this point, the boys were 1.5. And he said, oh, that's such a shame. And so I decided that what I was going to do was try and size it up. So I've used other double knitting weight patterns that to give me the measurements for how big it should be for the age 2 to 3. 2 to 3 or 3 to 4? I think I might be doing 3 to 4 because the boys are going to be 3 in November. Either way, I worked it out, and I've worked out the same for the length. And so I left this. I haven't touched it since last summer, as I had thought about getting it done for the boys' birthdays. Obviously, I'm not doing one for Robin. I'm only doing one for my friend's grandson. But yeah, and then when he came down to see me and we went round Devon last week, obviously he was at the forefront of my mind again. And so I spent some time the weekend before he arrived actually working on it. So this is the back. I had actually started the raglan decreases, but for some reason one of the rows was stretched and I really didn't like it. I actually have deleted the pictures now, so I can't show you, but there was a join in the yarn which I left. And actually, to be fair, I've left it again here. I've left one of them and it does notice it's there. But I had to undo some stitches, and being cotton yarn, it stretched out. So I just wasn't happy with it. So I've ripped it back and I've started again. So this is in the Rowan Cotton Soft DK that I spoke about before. It's so nice to work with. It's soft without feeling, slimy is the wrong word, but there you go. And the colours are beautiful. I love them. And I'm hopeful that I'll get this done for July when I go up to Kent for the Search Press sales meeting, and I will be able to give this to my friend for his grandson. So there we are. Right. Okay. What else have I got to share with you? I have done some more work on my granny stripe, but it's nothing worth showing you. It's literally finishing a row. So what I'll do is I'll wait and I will show you my granny stripe. I showed it to you last week, so I'm not sure whether to do a week before last. So I think I'll do it sort of in the midway point of every month and show you that. So yeah, the next thing I want to talk about is Summer Sock Camp 2024. So Kay, the crazy sock lady, who no doubt all of you know, runs the annual Summer Sock Camp. The first year, I think it was slightly more complicated. There were cabins and you signed up to your cabin and you decided what you were going to work on. And it was this huge endeavour, which was fantastic and fantastically run. But I remember watching the podcast at the time thinking, gosh, I can't fathom how much admin goes into this. But last year she stripped it right back. So it was just a super casual, we're gonna knit socks all summer, make along. And it was really great to see the enthusiasm for it. And then this year she's been talking about it. And I've decided to join in. So I'm joining in with Summer Sock Camp 2024. So the idea is we knit socks. So this works really well because I'm, as you know, doing my Crack Those Whips cowl, which again is a super casual make along. There's no prizes, there's nothing. We're just doing it for fun. Thank you to those of you who shared how many works in progress you're going to try and finish this summer. That's really cool. And so I've got quite a few sock works in progress. I shared in a podcast a few weeks ago, a couple of months ago, my sock obsession confession, that I had 9 pairs of socks on the go at the time. I went through my Ravelry page last night and I'm up to about 13. I haven't finished socks. I finished Jude's socks. I finished Robin's socks. I'm almost finished Mum's socks. So what is going on? How have I got so many socks on the go? I honestly couldn't tell you. I'm just slightly obsessed with socks. I make no apologies for that. I really enjoy it. I do it on the dog walk. So a lot of this sock, for example, I did all of that. So that part of the leg, the heel flap, the heel turn on the dog walk yesterday before work. It's great. I love being able to walk and knit. It's wonderful. And with something like socks where it's just round and round, or slightly more complicated with the heel flap, but just round and round, it's easy to do. I use a sock sack that I got from the yarn dispensary. I believe they've still got some. And this one's by Emma Ball. And actually, if my aunt wanted to use this as like a wrist bag, she could do that, or keep her little bit of embroidery or stitching that she has in the car when she waits for Samuel for various things. Could work. Why does it feel like the stitch is about to come off the needle? No, they're not. So I'm very excited. I'm using the Summer Sock Camp as a total motivation to do some more sock knitting. So with that in mind, I've got as far as I can on my mum's second sock, and I've turned the heel, finished the gusset on the first sock of that pair for me. I'm going to have a new series of videos coming out. I'm going to do, just for summer sock camp, I'm going to do either weekly or fortnightly, I'm not sure yet, update videos on how I'm getting on with socks, because otherwise this podcast is just going to become socks all summer, and there's so much more I'm working on and so much more I want to share, and I know that socks aren't for everybody, so I thought I might do them as discrete videos. What do you think? Just like a weekly summer sock camp update. Anyway, so yeah, I'm joining in with that. How many of you are joining in with summer sock camp? I'm going to do this week a bit of a kind of whip amnesty. I'm going to pull out all my sock whips, actually write them down and have a focus and say, right, we're going to work through these socks. I mean, some of them are just half socks where I'd done a sample for the shop and obviously I needed to knit one at a time, but their partners are still waiting to be created, so I need to do that. So with that in mind anyway, as you know, I work for Search Press, and I'm very lucky because I get sent sample books as part of my job. So this isn't a perk, it's not a sponsorship, I'm not getting anything extra to talk about this here. So it is not a paid partnership, it's not a promotion. It just happens to be a book that I've got from my work that I want to show you here. Are you ready? How stinking cute is this? Moomins. I've had this song, they love the laughter and they love the living, the Moomins. I've had that stuck in my head. This arrived the other day, it arrived last Friday in a box of beautiful, beautiful books, and I would quite happily show you so many of them. There's the Pocket Book of Weaving, the Pocket Book of Macrame, there's a mini knitted woodland by Sashio Ishii. It's amazing. But this one, I went, oh my goodness! My son actually thought I was having a paddy because I was so excited. I stamped my feet. I was, oh, I stamped my feet. It's so childish, but I don't care. Crafting should bring you joy, and this brings me joy. Look at this. So cute. So there are 29 sock patterns in this book, and it retails at $15.99. Now, what is that if not a bargain? $15.99 for this book is amazing. And it's perfect for summer sock camp as well, because it's 90s themed summer sock camp, and the Moomin cartoon, certainly in this country, I don't know about everywhere else, but certainly in this country, was really big in the 90s, and I grew up with it, and I loved it. Anyway. And they've got such a gorgeous range of socks. Some of them are more kitschy and kind of 90s and cartoony, and some of them are more almost like graphic, you know, the two colours that you would expect with like knitted socks from Finland and things like that. So if we have a look, for example, I'm going to show you some of these because they're just so gorgeous. I'm going to try and hold them up. This one calls to my cold blue heart. Dancing in the Rain. Isn't that so sweet? Okay, right, so I haven't actually given anything away by holding up the recipe page. That's good. So this is Moomin Troll, Dancing in the Rain. Some of them are a little bit more kind of kitschy. How cute's that? What's that one? Berry Picking. And then you've got, where are we? And you can do these socks are from baby to granddad size. How cool is that? This one's really lovely. The Hemulan's Garden. Beautiful long leg there. See, I've got little feet, but my calves are the same size as you'd expect for someone of my height, so I don't know if I've managed to wear those. There are some others as well that I think I would do in monotone, like just two colours rather than multiple colours. I think the little face on the Wanderer is really cool. How awesome is that? So yeah, this has just been published, literally hot off the press. I got one of the first ever copies. And yeah, 29 enchanting colourwork knitting patterns that bring Tove Jansson's beloved Moomin characters to life. Moomin Papa, Moomin Mama, Moomin Troll, as well as their friends Sniff, Snork Maiden and Snuffkin. The book contains easy to follow knitting patterns, full colour charts and advice on sizing the socks for every member of the family, whether you're as tiny as little Mai or as big as Moomin Papa. So best socks. So it will come as no surprise to you that I want to cast these on. I also want to cast on the new sock for the 52 weeks of socks knit along. I started the I've forgotten the name of it. Sock, which was the sock for March. And I've really been enjoying it, but it's lace and I'm partway down the first sock. I then didn't start the sock for April, which was Canerva, and I can't pronounce it. I keep calling it Canavera, but it's Canerva. I didn't start that because I hadn't done the March one, but actually, was it April one? May, we just finished May. Must have been April. Oh, whatever. Either way, I didn't do last month's. I really want to do June's, which is Una, and it's top down, which makes me feel really comfortable because I like knitting top down socks. So I've got to actually work through some of the existing socks I've decided, not least because I don't have any spare sock needles and I cannot buy any more. And I think when you get to the stage where you have enough sock needles to have 13 pairs of socks on the go, then you've got a bit of a problem. To be fair, I've only got about 5 or 6 active socks. I don't have enough sock needles for all of them. Otherwise, I really would. I'd just cast on more. So I'm going to be working through that this month. And I'll be doing separate videos on the summer sock camp for people who like those. There'll be little tiny 10-minute videos once a week. I'm hoping to add those on anyway. We'll see. I mean, I may be biting off more than I can chew because I'm actually also starting a level 2 qualification in Introduction to Neuroscience in the early years this week. My first assignment's due in 2 weeks' time, and I'm working full time, and I've got Robin and all the things. So we'll see. Right, let's talk giveaways. I've just talked about the book. Here we go. This is Emma Homan's Needlepoint stitch directory. It's beautiful. It's a really lovely copy. It's signed by the author. It's signed by Emma. I was very lucky to host her at the Yarn Dispensary for our Love Local event last year, and I bought one of these with a giveaway in mind. I've given one to my aunt, and I've got this one here. It's a really beautiful book. Okay, really beautiful. If you would like this book, it's open worldwide. Please comment below something relevant to needlepoint. The word needlepoint needs to be in your response somewhere. I don't really have a prompt. Let's just start a conversation. Why do you want the book? Do you want to start it? Have you done needlepoint before? Have you done any of Emma's kits? All those sorts of things. This is actually produced by David and Charles, which is the sister company to Search Press. But I bought this one from Emma. So there we go. It's fantastic. It's a beautiful book. Lots of lovely projects to do. Comment below. I want to give it away. Right, okay. So acquisitions then. I've acquired some more fabric, but I'm not going to show you that at the moment because I'm not ready to even think about doing anything with it. But my friend Mina came to stay a few weeks ago, and she'd been to Amsterdam not long before with her husband Perry. She'd accompanied him on a work trip to Amsterdam, and she went to Stephen and Penelope. Can you imagine my surprise and delight when she presented me with this Ralma bag with not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 skeins of Stephen West's bicycle yarn. If I could reach through the screen so you could squish this, I would. I can't believe it. I never, ever thought that I would get the opportunity to work with this yarn. It's just not something that's accessible to me with the price point, the shipping, all that sort of thing. Plus, I'm not buying more, I'm trying not to buy more yarn. Certainly without a project in mind. So this is Bicycle Aquamarine, Bicycle Brackish, Bicycle Sea Mist, very appropriate for around here at the moment, and Bicycle Norway. They're just beautiful colours, and they go, whoops, so beautiful, I'm throwing them around, and they go beautifully together. I would love your help in deciding what I could do with this. And this will be my end of summer, very noisy bike. This will be my end of summer cast on for myself when I've cracked some whips in the Crack Those Whips count. So it is fingering weight. Oh, it's super squishy, and it's 175 meters per 100 grams, per 50 grams. So I have 200 grams of this yarn. I would love to know what you think I should do with it. It's so my colours. Mina knows me so well. And it was just an absolute joy. So that brings me back to where we started, really, the Crack Those Whips make along. So every year I get to this sort of time of year and I start thinking about how much I've got on my needles, how much I want to cast on for this year, and about actually clearing some of those needles. And I try and work through some works in progress. So I'm hoping that next time I will have the Logan vest finished. It's not called the Logan vest, but it's for Logan. I will have a fair chunk of this finished. I'll have finished this sock, and I'll be starting to work through some other long languishing works in progress as well, getting those off the needles. I'm not going to say end hook, because the only thing I've got on my hook is my granny stripe, and that's going to take approximately 10 years. So yeah, so that's it. It's the end of May. Another month has gone by already, and I can't quite believe it. Things have been interesting here in the household. Little one's had chicken pox. He really suffered with it, bless him. So we've kind of been quarantining and not seeing anyone, because a lot of our family are very vulnerable. And although if you've had chicken pox, you can't in theory catch it again, you can develop shingles. And if people are on cancer treatment and things like that, it's quite dangerous. And also if there's pregnant people and they contract it, or baby contracts it, unborn baby, it can be dangerous. So we've been kind of shielding a bit from the family, so we haven't really seen anyone for a while. That said, we've been up to lots of things. We've been working in the garden, chopping down trees. I've started to get a bit of a tan, going for lots of walks, and just settling in. We're growing carrots and beetroot in a plastic box. We haven't decided yet where the garden's going to be and how it's going to be. So rather than committing to a raised bed where we might not actually like where we put it, what I've done is I've started the seeds, the vegetables off in propagator trays and moved them into a plastic storage crate that's used to house yarn. And so we've kind of got a portable vegetable garden. But we're bringing it in at night at the moment, because I'm just living fear of A, slugs, and B, cats using it as a litter box. Not our cats, I don't think they would, but we do have 3 black cats who come and visit our garden. They live a couple of doors down, and there's no cat flap. I saw it because the way our house is, it's kind of set back from the next row of houses, and so I can see their back door from our window on our stairs. And I saw them get, not kicked out, that's not a kind thing to say, and it's not accurate, but they were kind of plopped outside the back door one morning, and they made a beeline for the garden, and they seem to go home at night when they're let back in again. So, I mean, they're happy, they're well cared for, and our garden's quite nice, and the cats seem to quite like them. The dog does not like them, which causes a bit of anxiety, but there we are. So yeah, we're growing vegetables. I took some fabric scissors to my curtains. We bought curtains from a charity shop, and they're like floor length, so they're just cumbersome and heavy. And so I bit the bullet. Now I've got my sewing machine out. I bit the bullet and I took fabric scissors, and while they were hanging at the window, I was like, yeah, that'll do. And I just sort of snip across, which is very accurate. And I'm sure that, you know, if my friends Jackie and Emma knew what I'd done, they'd be horrified and rolling their eyes very loudly at me. But it seems to have worked. So instead of a pair of curtains, I now have 2 pairs of curtains, and I'm about to have 4 pairs of curtains, because I'm going to do the same to the other pair that's currently hanging in my husband's office. So at the moment they're raw edges, but now I've got the sewing machine out, I just need to hem them, and I will double fold them this time. So I need to hem them, and I need to get to Dunelm and get some curtain tape so you can attach the hooks, and a new curtain pole, because where this curtain was so heavy, it's basically bent this plastic pole that we've got at our stairs window. So there's going to be more sewing going on basically in the future. I've also got my son's summer pyjamas to sew, so that's going to be a project that's coming up. Yeah, how I'm going to do all this, I just don't know. I don't have time. But there's a little element of living the good life at the moment. We've got a vegetable garden going on. We're doing gardening. We're going for dog walks. Yesterday was bank holiday. Robin woke up, and to distract him from the television god that he started to worship, he's been poorly, so we've been watching a lot of TV. He woke up, he was like, I'm watching a video. Like, no, you're not watching a video. Let's do something else. So we talked about we're going to bake cookies. Brilliant. We're going to bake cookies at 6 o'clock in the morning. Why not? That conversation evolved to having chocolate chips. I'm like, yeah, chocolate chips, that's fine. And having white on it, which is icing, yeah, and sprinkles. Yeah, you can have chocolate chip cookies with icing and sprinkles. This is fine. And then he went, donut. I can't make donuts. And I thought, do you know what? And by that point, Daddy had gotten up, as he couldn't get back to sleep. So we went for a walk, and we walked all the way to the Downs, which is that beautiful view that I show you quite often in these videos, and bought sugar ring donuts and sat. He was in his pajamas. Daddy and I did get dressed and sat looking at the 7:30 a.m. view over the bay, and it was just beautiful. It was really, really lovely and really fun, and a little bit of an indulgent treat. So yeah, there's all that. I'm still practicing my keyboard. You can see my yarn basket there is going to be updated because we're coming into June. So I've decided that makes it summer. The yarn basket thing's working really well for me, actually. I'm finding that because they're there, I can reach over and just start a project, which is what happened here. And so actually I'm using my yarn more, and I'm appreciating it more than it just being stashed away in boxes. So I'm going to swap this out, and I think I'm going to go for bright, funky summer sock yarns, because the summer sock camp is happening and I want to knit all the socks, and they're going to be my carrots. And the theme, I think I said already, is 80s, 90s. So I've got lots of like really bright West Yorkshire Spinners coloured yarns. I've got some Fibre Punk skeins in there that you can't see that I think would definitely hit the 90s vibes. They're going to stay there. So yeah, I'll be changing my basket over, and you'll see that next time. Or if you decide to tune into the summer sock camp videos that I'm going to do, you'll see them there. The only other thing is, last time I promised you a 100-day project. I started. Day one was getting it organised, and I built the frame and I cleared a space in my room, and it's just making me so happy. And I was all ready and raring to go to actually start stitching. Turns out can't find the pattern. Can't print it again, don't have a printer. It's like 80 pages or something stupid like that, or at least that's how it printed last time. Maybe I printed it twice. Anyway, it's a lot of pages. And also I can't, it's too long ago that I bought it, so I'm not allowed to download it again. I'd have to pay for it again, and that's like £15, that's quite a lot. So I need to find the pattern in order to start cross-stitching. That said, I thought, where's it gone? Here we are. When I was going through my bookcase over there, because I'm trying to tidy that and organise my patterns, I came across this. So I think I might start my 100-day project, but with the Percy cross stitch for my son. I don't have on here the colours that DMC suggests you use. So I'm going to have to look online and see if there are any recommendations. I mean, some of them are fairly obvious. Like, so you've got red is red, black is black. This is fine. There's some white, there's some dark grey. I think there's dark grey, medium grey, light grey. That's easy enough to do. Getting the greens right is going to be a bit more of a challenge. But I'm thinking I might start the 100-day project with this first of all and get this done for my son, because he's spotted this now and he's really excited. It's Thomas Mad, as you may know. So yeah, there's going to be so much going on this summer, and I'm so excited to bring you on this journey with me. Just a reminder that you'll be able to find me at Yarningham on the 13th and 14th of July, along with Mina, knitting expert. She's having a designer booth and kits for her designs, and I will be there as her booth buddy. It will be the only opportunity this year you have to get my yarn if you did want it. I'm still very much undecided as to the future of the diary, as to how I'm going to go about doing things. As you'll know from I shared a few weeks ago, I'm starting early years initial teach training in September. I've got a job at a preschool. My life's changed direction quite drastically from where it was even last year. So I'm just taking my time. Dyeing yarn is definitely my happy place. I love it. I've got the yarns that Lee dyed I could show you, but I just don't know. It's definitely my happy place and I love it, but I just don't know where I am at the moment in life, if it really is what I need to be doing right now, if that makes sense. I've been asked a few times about advent calendars for this year. I don't think that's going to happen. I can't see me, because I haven't started this job yet. I don't know realistically how much time I'm actually going to have to do it. There's going to be studying involved, because obviously I'm doing my teacher training. I've got training to do for, wow, that's bright. I've got training to do just within the preschool itself, never mind my initial teacher training. I've got, I've got this neuroscience course I'm doing. I'm still working with Search Press. There's a lot going on, and I think where we're landing at the moment is that I'm not going to be dyeing yarn again for a while. So there's not going to be an advent calendar. I think I can happily say that now. I can't commit to it. I live in permanent fear of something happening, meaning I can't fulfill my obligations. And it happens occasionally, and it's partly why I put the diary on hiatus anyway last year, or a couple of years ago now, because I want to be able to uphold a certain level of customer service. It's important to me. You guys are important to me, and I wasn't going to be able to do that. And so it seems silly to restart things now, but nevertheless. Anyway, here we are. Look at this. Aren't they glorious? This is what Lee dyed when she visited me. If you saw last week's vlog, you'll see a little bit of this. And you've got the kind of 50 gram, I think it's 50 gram to go with it, this bright yellow. It is just joyous. So Lee, now I've shown this off on the podcast, I will finally send them to you. And hopefully that will give her a bit of joy over the summer. They're just fab, aren't they? Right, I've managed to waffle on for the best part of an hour, and I've got some sewing to do. So I will say ta-ra for now, and I'll see you next time. Bye.